incredibly hard, because it turned out that Hector Babenco, who directed the wonderful original movie, had bought the underlying rights. And as we were trying to get them, sadly, he passed. So it was unclear who the rights had reverted to. And it actually took years. And it was Barry Josephson and his office who finally tracked it down.
Did you have to say to Barry, I'm the guy to do this?
Well,
I'm the guy to do it.
No, I think that had already happened because before I had already talked to John Kander, Terrence McNally, Tom Curtihy, and for 5 years have been trying to do this. It was already kind of clear that, this is something we were going to do.
The most important question I have to ask you is Blue Bloods. Did you keep that in the...
We did not keep that. Although, can I say,
Yes.
the tune is in almost every melody is in the movie, right? As Easter eggs. Even Blue Bloods, you're the only one who's asked about that. People talk a lot about dressing them up, right?
Oh, I'm a huge Blue Bloods fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're the one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, but it's in there. The melody's in there.
And then why was it to keep? I understand 60%. Was it 60%
of the score? Yeah, I kept everything that made sense in the movie, right? But the theatrical idiom that I start to sing to you on the stage here, that wasn't going to work in this version of the movie, where there's this incredible divergence between the brutality of the prison and the movie that it recounts, right? So these great songs like Blue Bloods can't be sung because people don't sing in jail to each other and they don't have a piano sitting next to them.
But you never know. When the movie takes off, then we can do it on stage and we can bring
Correct.
Blue Bloods back for you. Okay?
Sing them up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
put them all back in.
So, Jen, how long have you been waiting to sink
My
your teeth?
whole life. We talked about Bye Bye Birdie for a while. To be honest, since I was 5 years old and my mother, first introduced me to West Side Story, I thought that I was going to do Broadway and do musicals. I wanted to sing. I wanted to dance. I wanted to act. That was always in my mind. That's what I wanted to do with my life. And to have this come at this point in my life, I was just like, I've been waiting forever to be able to do a real movie musical. And then to do it in the style of back then, which were all the ones that I watched growing up, was like a dream come true. Even with the songs that are not there, I had 10 musical numbers that I had to do in this movie. And it was brutal because it's an indie film and we didn't have the time like most musicals have, that we know that they get a year to do these movies, and we didn't have that. But I started the minute he told me that we were doing it and we had our financing. I was like, okay, I start tomorrow rehearsing, even if we can't, rehearse, on the budget until these few weeks. I'm going to start these couple of months, 3 months before. And that's what I did. I just started with the songs first and learning every note of the song, which was amazing. Because I remember when we went to, when we were in rehearsal on our sets, and they were like, okay, tomorrow with all the dancing we're doing, we're going to go note by note, make sure that we're true to the book, of the songs. And I had every single note perfect, didn't miss one. And then there was one that they challenged me on. They were like, it's here, not here, and I was like, no, that's what I learned. That's what I learned. I know that's what it is. And then my voice coach was there and he was like, I'm sorry, I taught her the wrong one. And I was like, I told you, it wasn't me. Yeah, it was just, but it needed that level of detail. And it was the same thing with the dancing and the choreography. They're just like very intense musical numbers. And on top of that, this one over here wanted to film it from top to bottom. He wanted to do like the old musicals where they would do things in one shot. And you can't stop. There's not editing, and we have some edits. There was some coverage, but it was just like mostly we do the number from top to bottom every single time. And so that was an extra added little bonus fun challenge for us.
And it was spectacular.
It was great. I mean, at the end of the day, it was amazing.
Well, it started off with a self-tape. I got the material and I instantly knew the IP, and I just felt like something was special. It was different than all the other ones. And so I submitted my tape like any other. And then spiritually, I was like, there's so many different ways of telling this story. let me just lock myself up. And I just worked it and worked it and worked it. I worked She's a Woman until it just flowed out of me. And then I submitted it and then I left it alone. The next morning at 9 a.m., I get an email from my agent. Like, well, that was great. They want to see you, but we're shutting down for Christmas. So I was like, great. I'm going to have to wait with anticipation. But come January, I met once with Bill and we talked a little bit. I flew out to New York and we did the song and the scene work. And I thought that was great because I felt very, very confident there. But when it came to the dancing, I was just like, oh, Jesus. I have never danced a tango. And now I have like 30 minutes to an hour to learn this little chunk and then perform it in front of 11 people, including Bill freaking Condon. So like the pressure was so low. But I left and yeah, I looked very young when I shave, and I think that Bill's initial vision was someone who was a little bit older, and so I was politely told no, and I moved on, and I prayed, and I said, I think I felt so grateful to having just had the experience and to have been seen, and I lit a candle, and I said blessings, and
Which always works.
no, truly, I had just moved apartments, and I lit a candle, and I just said, I try to force things in life where I'm like, oh, I want to do this, or this career really creates a level of tenacity to push and push. And I said, I'm going to submit whatever is going to be will be, and I'm just going to trust God this year. That's what I said. I'm going to just trust. And the next day, quite literally, there's no hyperbole here, I get an email from Bill saying, I have been having second, third, and fourth thoughts. Would you mind reading with Diego this weekend? And I was like, okay, yeah, naturally, of course I will do that. And we did. And he called me up and then he said, you got it. And I was frozen. And I was just like, are you sure? Are you lying? And he's like, no, you got it. Why would I lie about that? And I was like, okay, well, I will see you at work. Bye. So it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, this man is a legend.
1976 is when the novel was published. It's 50 years old, right? And you read it, and it's so current, right? When it comes to issues of gender identification, but also, the oppression of the other, and it just feels like the world we're living in today. That was the thing that made it urgent. It felt like this has to be told again.
I can tell you what resonated with me was the whole idea. I read this script. It's just about these two men in this cell together and how they escape through storytelling, through music, through, kind of that thing that musicals and stories bring to you, and the power of storytelling and of love.
Yeah.
Right? To me, those are two things that will never go out of style, right? Those are the things that matter in life. And for me, just looking at it, I thought to myself, this is such a beautiful love story because it's just about not sexual orientation. It's not about gender. It's not about anything. What it is about is humans, and humans being able to see each other and accept each other and love each other, and understanding that love can heal any divide. It can unify. And for me as an artist, that's what my whole mission is to put as much love out into the world in every way and through every project that I can. And this just like fit so perfectly into that. And it is also personal to me, for people in my family. And so it's just it was such, like I said, it was a dream come true on so many different levels. Obviously, I love doing all the singing and dancing, but what the actual movie says is something so much bigger and more profound and so much more relevant to this moment in time that I'm so excited for people to experience it.
Yeah. I think for me, it was I got the pleasure of playing the spectrum, right? Kendall has this certain energy. Molina had a very certain energy. And at the end of the film, there's a different energy there. And I think what I would love for people to take away is that your spirit can be infinite. It has no bounds. And in a time where we see things as so binary and rigid, and truthfully, binaries can be very violent, there isn't space for other in that. And so I think this creates an act of resistance with compassion.
Jennifer and I have been working on Zoom, as you do. We were in New York. And the first time we actually met in person, I was driving to Jennifer's house, and John Kander called me and told me that Chita had passed. Do you remember that? And it was so sad, but it was really, we hugged. You started pulling up clips of her, from the early 60s. And it was, we just felt her presence so strongly while we were making the movie.
And she was such a powerhouse, and to think that she did that role on stage 8 shows a week
Yep.
at 60 years old.
Older, yeah.
She
yeah.
was maybe even a little older than that. Was incredible to think of all of these musical numbers that she had to do, and to kind of step into those shoes and sing these songs. It was just, and that
Legendary.
first day we started singing, it
Yeah.
was just, it's been a very blessed journey on so many levels. And there's a beautiful little thing at the end of the movie that you'll see. But yeah.